Okay, so I, male 19, am babysitting my little sister, female 15, while our parents are on a trip internationally. It's like a completely different time zone and the signal sucks. They get home in like 6 days. But we are both pretty self-sufficient and felt like it would be fine, and my parents left us food and money and stuff. We've been Gucci for a whole week so far. Anyway, this morning, she got her period while we were just like sitting playing video games, and she got blood all over the couch. So I paused the game while she took care of it and put on a tampon and didn't make a big deal of it. I was trying to be nice because I know it can make girls cranky and it hurts and stuff. So I got snacks and a blanket and whatever, and we kept playing. Well, like maybe 40 minutes later, she freaked out because she bled on the couch again, and I'm like, did you put the thing on wrong or what? So she changed again, and I even helped her clean the blood off the couch this time, and I figured she'd use a bigger feminine thing. No big deal. Well, like 30 minutes after we start playing again, she pauses and goes to the bathroom, and I hear her scream. So I run over there thinking there's a spider or something, but she came out holding like this chunk. It was like a chunk of blood. But looking at it, I'm like, shoot, maybe that's an organ? Like, is that your kidney? But she was like, no, it's a clot. And she was freaking out about it. Which, yeah, it was gross. It was like the size of a hacky sack. So I'm like, okay, well, go flush your clot. Anyway, she cleans herself up, but then she said she doesn't want to play anymore. And I'm like, okay. So she spent an hour on the couch with her face all scrunched up, doing yoga breathing, and telling me her cramps were the worst ever. So I gave her Tylenol, but she wouldn't take it because she said she feels like she's gonna throw up. I brought her water and juice and warmed up that gel thing you stick on your stomach, you know? So I was trying to help. Well, then she says, oh, no. And she gets up and goes to the bathroom, and as she's walking, she's got like blood going down her leg. She yelled for me from the bathroom, and I go in there and she's sitting there and I hear this plopping sound, and there's more of those chunks, like maybe 2 of them. And she says, I think we need to go to the ER. I'm like, why? And she tells me this is more blood than she's ever had, and she doesn't feel good. But periods are supposed to suck, right? And she wouldn't take the Tylenol either. So she didn't really try to manage it at home. So then she started yelling at me, telling me I have to take her because she can't drive. But I'm pretty sure our parents will unalive me if I take her to the ER for her period. Is that a thing? She's sitting in the shower now because she said she thought the warm water would feel good, and she was sick of bleeding on stuff, and it's more comfortable than the toilet. I asked her if she just needs a bigger tampon, and she told me to est few. So she's not even communicating with me at this point. I've asked her a few times if she's okay in there, and she tells me, I'm bleeding out, Mason, what do you think? So like she's not unconscious. Aita, I don't know anything about this, but I also know she hates blood and flips out about any minor cut too. Is going to the ER because of a period a thing? Can you bleed too much? I thought there was only a certain amount of blood in the female genitalia every month. I feel like she'd be more comfortable at home anyway if she'd just take the Tylenol. Aita, what to do? My sister is like average teenage girl, height, pretty skinny because she's a ballerina and doesn't eat meat. She takes Accutane for her pimples. I'm not sure if there's other stuff that's important. She's had her period for like a year now, I'm pretty sure. Maybe more. She takes Flintstone gummy vitamins sometimes, like the ones in the purple jar. And she's obsessed with Celsius energy drinks. She wears contacts, and she had her wisdom teeth removed 2 months ago. Aita, I want her to be okay and stuff, but I'm not sure the ER is a good choice. Help? Now for a few important comments. One commenter asked if the sister might be pregnant. OP responded, Ike, I don't think she's having intimacy. She doesn't have a boyfriend or anything, and she doesn't go on dates. I asked her if she was pregnant, and she told me to frick off, so. Another commenter advised, just go. You don't need to call ahead. Bring both your phones and a charger and some cash for vending machines. Don't expect your sister to necessarily want to eat for a while, and maybe expect her to get annoyed if you eat in front of her. She is very, very stressed right now and really, really does not feel good. Then be a good big brother and stay there with her. She will always remember it, and it will make up for you not listening to her earlier. She will probably want you to step out for the DAR exam, but will want you there for the rest. Be understanding and expect it to take a while. Ope then said, she said she was soaking both of them, so I guess we are going. Okay, she's throwing some extra clothes and stuff in a bag. I'm trying to think what my mom would do, so I brought water bottles, sunscreen, and snacks, and something to do. My sister asked why I changed my mind, and I told her about this, and she said, I told you so, and called me a weenie, which okay, fair. I didn't know it was actually an emergency, so I guess I'll update when we find out what's wrong. OP also mentioned, I asked her if she wanted to call her friend's mom to be here or something, and she said no, so I'd ask if I should call someone or not if she doesn't want them. Is that intrusive? Then OP said, yeah, lol. I didn't think about the fact that it's inside, just like my mom always yelling about sunscreen. Okay, this makes me feel good because I packed her squishmallow, and I was kind of afraid to tell her I did that in case she thought it was embarrassing or something. I sent my mom a text. Yeah, we're here now. They took us back almost as soon as we walked in. I mean, if I acted grossed out, she'd tell me to grow up, lol. My sister doesn't deal with stupid dudes. But yeah, we're close, and it's just blood, so. Okay, we got here. She threw up a couple times in the car, but she said she's good now. We walked in, and she was dripping down her leg again. And they saw that at the desk, and maybe how freaking freaked I looked, lol, and took her back pretty much right away. So they stuck a needle in her with a tube on it, basically right away, and took vitals and stuff, and a bunch of tubes of blood. I think what these numbers mean, but it was BP 7953 and pulse 133. She told the nurse she wants me here, so I'm here. I texted my mom. We left the sunscreen in the car, and my sister said I'm a fool for packing it, lol. Aita, man, these fluorescent lights are pretty bright. Yeah, I filled in all the forms and stuff, and she signed saying they can tell me what's going on with her. They already had her insurance, so that was cool. All right, so I guess I was posting updates in the comments, but it's better here? Anyway, my sister is okay. She had some scans that were all fine, and they don't think she has fibroids or tumors or anything like that. She's feeling a little better, but still staying here at least another day. Our mom and dad are flying home tomorrow now. My mom was pissed I texted her instead of calling at first, lol. Already had someone try to find me on Insta, so if you know me or her, no you don't, lol. She doesn't want this going around school or whatever, so don't dox us for at least 3 years, lol. She's cool with me updating though, without her name or whatever. Also, our parents don't know about this either. I feel like we should wait until it's been a few years to tell them too, so they don't unalive me, lol. She's gonna hold this over my head forever, lol. Anyway, they think she has a blood disorder that makes her not clot right. I'm not 100% sure how it works because she had big clots, but they said they're pretty sure that's what's going on because her PTT took longer than normal to clot. They're waiting on von Willebrand testing to come back, but they think she has type 2 probably. I'm gonna Google that tonight because I don't know what that is and I've never heard of it. So I guess if any of the doctors know what that is, or if this sounds like it, let me know. Yeah, wasn't expecting this to blow up like this, lol. I thought this was just like doctors answering questions like a helpline, but my sister said thank you for everyone telling me to take her, and she's okay. Am I the idiot for skipping my childhood friend's birthday party because his jealous girlfriend wanted to supervise me? Hi! For the second time, I finally have some downtime and wanted to update. I am the OP, and if you have any questions, please ask away. Miles and I have known each other since we were 2 because our parents are best friends. Now, I would not say Miles is my best friend. He is a good friend, and we do hang out on occasion, but see each other on all major holidays because of our parents. We are in our early 20s. The problem started because of a dumb childhood memory. When we were 8, we had a wedding play on school aftercare. I played the bride and Miles the groom. It was a play with horrible songs and uncoordinated kids. Obviously, our parents made pictures and videos of that, and we each have one picture on our family picture walls. Miles is dating Lindy. They met 3 years ago and started dating last year. Lindy does not like me, so every time we coincide at a celebration, she makes a comment about me being the typical girl best friend. She one time said that I secretly wanted to sleep with Miles. I have no clue where she got that impression from. Miles and I have different friend groups and schedules. Besides the monthly catch-up over food, we didn't really meet that much. Things got worse when Lindy saw the wedding play picture. The comments just got more. She even started DMing me on Instagram saying she knew what game I was playing. I talked to Miles once about this, and he told me to give her time. So his birthday was on Saturday, and I was invited. Lindy wrote me saying something along the lines that she was going to supervise me. This was their first birthday as a couple, and I was not allowed to take up his time. I was honestly just fed up. I tried talking to Miles once more, but he said the same thing. So I just skipped out. When the party started, I wrote a quick sorry. I can't come and told him my mother was going to bring his present. Now he is upset with me for missing his birthday. Lindy is mad that I made it all about myself, and my parents are upset I missed a family function. Am I the jerk? I didn't show anyone the messages because I didn't want to make more out of this than it is. I didn't want to poison anyone against Lindy, especially not if she is a new fixture in Miles's life. That would make both our lives more difficult. I hope that just talking about it might be the more adult thing. My parents are not mad at me or blowing up my phone. They and Miles's parents were just bummed out that this was the first birthday that I ever missed. As to why she is jealous, I have no idea. Neither of our parents ever wanted us to get together. There were no jokes or anything about it. I think they also never would want that. The wedding play picture is in the living rooms because they loved the picture and it was our first play. Now for the update. After my post, I talked to Miles. At first, he was kind of mad and thought I had been blowing things out of proportion. Some more details are in my last post. We came to the conclusion of taking more distance while he figures that all out, mainly because I did not want the added stress of petty drama. Then I talked to my parents and explained to them what was going on. They were really upset by how Lindy treated me. Obviously, they weren't going to get involved, but it was nice to get that off my chest. Then, nothing else happened. Until Tuesday evening. Wednesday was a holiday, so some of my friends took the opportunity to go to an Irish pub to do karaoke. At some point, my best friend and I went to pee and touch up our makeup. Then Lindy and some of her friends walked in and kind of cornered us. It wasn't pretty. They started loudly talking about man-stealing witches and how some women were just born to be homewreckers. And imagine being pathetic enough to pretend to be a guy's friend to frick him, and how pick-me's are the worst. They kept kind of edging us physically into the part where the hand dryers were, while pretending we were not there. Until my best friend had enough and just pushed through them while pulling me behind her. We were almost at our table when Lindy went right behind me and pulled my hair so that I fell backward onto like a metallic piece where you were supposed to put your feet on. It hurt so bad that I started to see white, and then a girl next to Lindy poured beer on me. I cannot really tell you what happened, but there was a scuffle, and someone dropped one of those heavy pint glasses on my head. The Lindys were taken away by police, and I was taken to the hospital. My parents were furious, as were Miles's parents. They both came to the hospital. I was severely concussed, my nose was fractured, and the worst thing is that I have a hairline fracture in my back. I stayed in the hospital till yesterday morning. Miles did try calling me a bunch. According to my parents, they told him not to visit me right now. I did get an official notice saying that apparently there was now a legal case open against Lindy and one other girl for not only attack, but also public disturbance in the bar. So now I'll have to deal with all that legally. I finally talked to Miles. And long story short, those of you saying Lindy was isolating him was a sign that an hurtful relationship was right. He told me all the things she said to him to make him feel awful. She would freak out about anything in her life and take that out on him. She would scratch him and bite him when she was mad. Our talk ended with both of us crying and apologizing. We will be closer again. At least we can talk about these things more often. He broke up with her and is hiding at my parents' house. So that is it for now. Now for the new update. There has been an official court date set for my process against Lindy. It took 2 months to get and is another 3 months out, but something is something. Our lawyer said that Lindy is probably not going to jail as she is a first-time offender. If she goes to jail, it would be no more than 3 months. Most likely, she's going to have to pay a fee of 100 days of her income or something like that. I have let my father deal with this 100% because I have no head for it. There is a second lawsuit going on at the same time, as now I am legally chronically ill. The hairline fracture was not a passing thing, but developed. I am daily in pain. Not every day is bad, but not a day passes where I am not in at least a 2 on the pain scale. As a result, I have not been able to work. Right now, my insurance pays 75% of my former income, and my workplace covers the rest, but I am probably going to get fired. So, my insurance filed a claim against Lindy to pay my lost wages. I am right now not in contact with Miles. I tried to be supportive, but being disabled by his jealous ex-girlfriend made me bitter against him. He was a victim, but now I can't live my life, and I blame him partly for that. I am in therapy to work through all of that and have taken up some new hobbies. I have started to write more and am looking into courses or online classes. Miles' parents have been apologetic and have supported me a lot. His mother has been a saint. She volunteered to drive me everywhere, and I have actually become friends with her. We even went to see Deadpool and Wolverine. She is a saw-you, so we have a lot of time. One of Lindy's friends reached out through my lawyer, offering a testimony against her own friend. She also sent a letter apologizing. To make it short, Lindy had told them I was bullying her and that Miles had once already cheated on her with me. So that's where we are right now. Take care and shield your back. Am I the idiot for uninviting my adopted brothers from my wedding after one said we're not real brothers? I'm a 32-year-old man, and I'm getting married to my longtime girlfriend soon. What should be one of the happiest moments of my life has turned into a heartbreaking ordeal because of a deepening rift in my family. To give you some background, I'm my parents' biological son, and when I was 12, they adopted 2 boys who were biological siblings, Jack, who was 8, and Liam, who was 5. From the very beginning, it was clear that things were going to be tough. Jack came with severe behavioral issues due to some intense trauma. I'll spare the details, but it was significant. I tried my hardest to be understanding, but living with him was nothing short of exhausting. His outbursts were constant, and I often felt like I was walking on eggshells, terrified of setting him off. As we grew older, I continued to try to be there for Jack, despite everything. A few years ago, Jack fell into a devastating drug addiction. I stood by him through his darkest moments, supporting him through rehab and doing everything I could to help him get back on his feet. It was draining and heartbreaking, but I did it because I loved him and believed that, despite our challenges, we were still brothers. The situation came to a head recently at a Sunday dinner at my parents' house. My son was working on his summer homework, which involved creating a family tree. He innocently asked Jack if he wanted to be included, and Jack just flat out said no. He didn't want to be part of it because, in his exact words, "We're not real brothers." He said it so casually, like it was the most obvious thing in the world, with no regard for how much it would cut me to the core. I was utterly stunned, but what shattered me even more was that Liam, who I've always felt closer to, just sat there in silence. He didn't say a word. He didn't defend me or even acknowledge how hurtful Jack's words were. He just let it happen. I've tried so hard to be supportive of both of them, especially Jack, despite the endless challenges. So, for Jack to say that, and for Liam to do nothing, felt like a gut punch. It was as if they were both telling me that I was never truly part of their family. I decided to uninvite both Jack and Liam from my wedding. My fiancé has been nothing but supportive of my decision, but my parents are furious. They've made it clear that if Jack and Liam aren't invited, they won't attend either. It feels like history is repeating itself, with my parents once again prioritizing Jack over me, no matter how much it hurts me. I'm absolutely heartbroken that my parents would choose to miss my wedding rather than support me in this. I know Jack has been through a lot, but I've done everything I can to be there for him and for Liam, despite all the heartache. And now, I feel like I'm the one being punished for finally standing up for myself and setting some boundaries. Am I wrong for uninviting my brothers after they said they don't see me as family, even if it means my parents won't come to my wedding? Now for a few important comments. Layera, why was your kid even asking him in the first place? That could have hurt them too. As a child, it would have never occurred to me not to include my aunts and uncles in a family tree. What did you say in front of your child to plant the idea that he needed to ask them? And did you correct your kid and say that of course his uncles should be on his family tree? You are also to blame in how this rift started, because whether intentional or not, you also did not correct the idea that you aren't real brothers/family, and it was your child that asked the question. Usually, people feel uncomfortable correcting other people's children in awkward situations like this. It falls on the parents to talk to their child and get to the root of things. Then OP replied, because he's 5 and just wanted to show off what he was doing. I have never said anything to plant an idea that they aren't my brothers. He doesn't even know they're adopted. Not because it's something we hide, just hasn't ever been something we really discuss as a family. Add uncles, aunties to the family tree was an optional extension, and he said it in a way of, come and help me add you in if you want to be. Not, you don't deserve to be in the tree. You're honestly clasping at straws here. I have no issue with someone labeling me Ta, but don't just make up context to decide it. Then OP added, I don't blame them or him for his drug addiction. Jack and Liam had truly horrible things happen to them both as children. Stuff I won't get into here, but you can understand it was the type of stuff that leaves lifelong scars on you. Even with the buttload of therapy they've gone through. One time Jack spoke to me about how when he's high on drugs, it's the only time in his entire life where he doesn't constantly remember and only time he ever feels at peace. Obviously, I shouldn't be the one who is constantly picking up the pieces of him, but I can 100% understand why he got into drugs. He's still a jerk though. Then OP clarified, the family tree and Jack's comment was only the catalyst for the argument that happened. And yes, there would have been no issues with Jack being included in the family tree. Now for the 6-day update. I'm honestly still reeling from everything that's gone down since my last post. First off, thank you to everyone who took the time to comment. I've read through all your advice, and it's been a lifeline. But buckle up, because things have taken a wild turn. After hearing from so many of you, I decided I needed to talk to Liam. We met up at a pub, and I just laid it all out there. How hurt I was when he didn't say anything after Jack made that awful comment about not being real brothers. I was half expecting him to defend himself, but what I got was something entirely different. Liam confessed that he's been living in fear of Jack for years. He told me he kept quiet that night because he was terrified of setting Jack off, not because he agreed with him. Then he dropped a bombshell. Despite being Jack's biological brother, he's felt just as much of an outsider in our family as I have. The constant pressure from our parents to cater to Jack's every whim has worn him down too. Liam assured me that he's always seen me as his brother and that he regrets not standing up for me sooner. Hearing that was a huge relief. He's completely on my side now, and we agreed that if Jack can't respect me as a brother, he has no place at my wedding or in our lives. But just when I thought things couldn't get more intense, my parents decided to make everything worse. I sat them down and explained why I uninvited Jack, hoping they'd understand. Instead, they threw down an ultimatum. If Jack isn't invited, they're not coming to my wedding. No room for discussion, no empathy, just flat-out refusal. I was gutted. After all these years of putting Jack's needs above mine, this is how they repay me? I couldn't hold back anymore. I let out all the anger and frustration I've been bottling up for years. I told them how I've always been the one sacrificing, how they've always prioritized Jack, and that I was done being treated like I don't matter. I made it clear that if they choose not to come to my wedding, they're making their choice, and I'll make mine. With that, I walked out, leaving them to stew in their own decisions. Out of nowhere, Jack started bombarding me with the nastiest, most hurtful texts I've ever received. He accused me of turning Liam against him, of ripping the family apart, and had the audacity to call me selfish for abandoning him. He ranted about how he never felt like he belonged in the family and how it's all my fault for pushing him away. His words hit hard, but they also opened my eyes. Jack has spent his whole life blaming everyone else for his problems, and I've been his favorite scapegoat. This time, though, I'm not letting him guilt trip me. I didn't even respond. I just blocked his number. If he can't see what he's done wrong, then there's nothing more to say. Liam was livid when I told him about Jack's messages. He's more determined than ever to support me, and we've decided to go low contact with our parents until after the wedding. Liam's been a rock through all this, helping me with the wedding plans and making sure I'm not dealing with this mess alone. So, the wedding is still happening, but with a much smaller guest list. My parents haven't reached out since our argument, and at this point, I don't care if they show up or not. This day is about me and my fiancé, and I'm not letting anyone, not even my own family, ruin it. Thank you again for all your support and advice. I'll keep you posted if anything else happens, though I'm really hoping my next update is just about how amazing the wedding was. Fingers crossed.